May 12th, 2017, a 90-second commercial goes live across the UK. Within days, grief charities are flooded with complaints. Twitter erupts in disgust. Over 150 formal complaints are filed, and McDonald's is forced to pull the ad completely and permanently, their words, and promise to overhaul their entire creative approval process. What could possibly be that bad? McDonald's tried to sell Filet-O-Fish sandwiches by exploiting the grief of a child who lost his father. And somehow, an entire advertising agency and McDonald's corporate team thought this was a good idea. The ad opens on a young boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old, walking through the English countryside with his mother. He's asking questions about his father, a man he never knew, a man who's dead. Did he have my eyes? No, Dad had brown eyes. The boy doesn't. Was he good at football? No, Dad was athletic and confident. The boy isn't. Did he like the same music? No, nothing in common. With each answer, the boy's face falls a little more. He's searching desperately for some connection to a father he'll never meet. The music is somber. The tone is heavy. This is raw childhood grief, the kind that actually breaks families apart. And then they walk into a McDonald's. The boy orders a Filet-O-Fish, gets tartar sauce on his chin, and his mother looks at him with this small, bittersweet smile and says, "That was your dad's favorite too." The music swells. The implication is clear. You may have lost your father, but at least you both love the same fast food fish sandwich. Connection found, grief resolved. Thanks, McDonald's. The reaction was swift and brutal. Grief charity Grief Encounter received countless calls from bereaved parents and children, with its founder stating McDonald's had exploited childhood bereavement as a way to connect with young people and surviving parents alike unsuccessfully. The drum. Real people who'd lost parents in childhood took to Twitter and they were furious. One person wrote, "I am sickened and disgusted by this advert. Lost my dad at 9. Memories? Yes. Burger? No. Shameful." Another, "As a person who lost their dad, trying to suggest that a McDonald's meal can fill that void is absolutely disgusting." The criticism wasn't just emotional, it was logical. Over 150 people filed formal complaints with the UK Advertising Standards Authority, objecting that it is inappropriate and insensitive to use bereavement and grief to sell fast food, with some noting the timing near Father's Day made it worse. The drum. Think about that. They released an ad about a boy missing his dead father right before Father's Day. The tone deafness is staggering. This wasn't created in-house. McDonald's hired Leo Burnett Group, a major advertising agency, to produce this campaign. CNN. Leo Burnett is a prestigious firm. They've created iconic campaigns for decades, which means this went through creative directors, copywriters, art directors, account managers, brand strategists, McDonald's marketing executives, and legal review teams. At every single stage, people with years of experience, people paid 6 figures to understand consumers, approved a script that said, "Let's connect a dead father to fish sandwiches." Not one person said, "Wait, are we really suggesting that a Filet-O-Fish can ease the pain of losing a parent?" Here's what makes this so offensive. McDonald's wasn't trying to comfort grieving families. They were trying to sell sandwiches by manufacturing an emotional connection that doesn't exist. Real grief doesn't work like this. A shared love of fast food doesn't heal the absence of a parent. It doesn't answer a child's questions about identity. It doesn't fill the void. What McDonald's did was commodify grief. They took genuine human suffering and turned it into a sales pitch. And they did it with a product that has nothing to do with memory, legacy, or connection. Grief charity president Shelley Gilbert called out the ad's core premise, saying, "Trying to insinuate that a brand can cure all ills with one meal is insensitive." The Mercury News. Within days, McDonald's withdrew the ad completely and permanently from all media, including TV and cinema, promising to review our creative process to ensure the situation never occurs again. The drum. Their apology was corporate and hollow. It was never our intention to cause any upset. But that's the problem. Intention doesn't matter when the execution is this tone-deaf. The fact that they didn't intend to exploit child grief makes it worse, because it means they genuinely didn't see the problem. And here's the kicker. This happened just 1 month after the Pepsi Kendall Jenner disaster. You'd think brands would have learned something, but no. McDonald's saw Pepsi's catastrophic attempt to profit from social justice movements and thought, you know what? Let's do the same thing with dead parents. This is what happens when brands lose touch with emotional intelligence, when marketing teams are so focused on emotional storytelling and connecting with consumers that they forget basic human decency. 3 critical lessons here. 1. Not everything is a brand opportunity. Some human experiences, grief, loss, trauma, should not be used to sell products. Full stop. 2. Emotional advertising requires emotional intelligence. You can't manufacture authentic connection by slapping your product onto genuine pain. 3. Diverse perspectives matter. If anyone on that creative team had personally experienced childhood bereavement, they would have killed this concept immediately. The fact that it got through suggests a room full of people with no lived experience of what they were depicting. McDonald's spent millions on this campaign. They hired top-tier talent. They crafted a visually beautiful ad. And they forgot the most basic rule of advertising. Don't exploit human suffering to sell fish sandwiches. The ad ran for less than a week. It will be remembered forever, not as touching, not as brave, but as one of the most tasteless marketing decisions in fast food history. Because at the end of the day, a filet of fish is just a sandwich, and no amount of tartar sauce can replace a father.